to play, but maybe if you don't want to play them into the composition with stuff like the Maokai that can keep you at range and understand going for the Aatrox and looking to have more impact in a late game team fights. Now, it's another game of Corki. The Corkis today have been wildly varied. Rookie's game earlier, absolutely fantastic. The couple of games we've had from Haichao and Yeekai, they've done damage, but they haven't won the games because they haven't been able to get the damage at the right place at the right time. Interested now to see how the Corki will do, not into the Akali.
And I really like the Corki with the Maokai too. It just makes it so easy to get the big setups anyways, and a lot of sustainable team fight right now for Ultra Prime, and on both sides, honestly. I do like LGD's options, though, because it definitely feels like they have a lot more angles they can take. You're definitely looking at double flank angles from both solo laners.
I like to call them flangles.
Flangles?
Flangles, a flank angle. Makes sense, huh?
Yeah.
You a fan of the flangle?
Take it or leave it.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean...
Are we liking the flangles this time around?
I mean, Nico with the ability to kind of get people corralled into them with the Nami ult. Yeah, I think that's pretty
corralled?
Good.
You should have stuck
corralled.
with it, my
my
man.
God, the corralled. Oh, that would have been excellent.
Give me a net for co-caster. I can't believe this.
Gosh, I actually really threw that, huh? Damn. That was really bad.
Right out the window. Just like both these games have kind of gone.
Yeah.
But now we're getting to a game 3 that promises to deliver all the chaos.
Do you know the word for being thrown out the window?
What?
Defenestrated.
Is it not just thrown out of the window?
No, defenestrated is a word, a specific word for being thrown out the window. You know, Prague has had 3 famous defenestrations. I don't know what they are, but they've had 3 of them. They keep talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's fine and dandy. We're going to defenestrate ourselves right into this game, though, because we're going on to Summoner's Rift and outside of the window, because it is time for Ultra Prime and LGD to come to a head, and somebody has to win, Nymaera. Somebody has to come away with their first dub of the season.
That they do. Both of these teams had a last place finishing split in 2023. They would really like to get themselves a win early in the season to give themselves a bit of confidence, a bit of momentum, and something to build off of in the scoreboard.
I don't know if JinJiao's come through. I have not heard any JinJiaos. It makes me sad. That's all I'm going to say.
Game 2, we had a couple.
We
I think after
LGD at least.
Yeah, because, so, for those of you that don't know, sometimes you'll have the JinJiaos for both teams, but then often after both teams have finished, you'll get some random fans just doing the LGD JinJiao, because they're just, it's become like the TSM chants in other arenas. Where it's just like, are they here? No. Okay. Do you want to shout anyway? Yes. So you just do that every so often.
Always love the fan interactions. It just makes it feel more alive. And speaking of, we gotta take a look at, I wonder, the mirrored start here, Nymaera. Does it mean we get maybe some top lane action? We haven't seen much of it.
Yeah, so when you have matched or kind of uneven jungle path, what your objective is are often a little bit different. If you're going from the same side of the map to the enemy jungle, it means that often you're playing around a pushing map on the other side, and you're either shielding it if you're losing push there, or you're using it to either dive or get into the enemy jungle if you have the winning lane. When you are using kind of mismatch stuff, you can either go for a counter jungle, or you can look for a 1v X dive on the other side. But when you've got stuff like Cassante and just the way that towers do so much damage nowadays, you're not really looking for dives at this point of the game. You used to be interested, but not really nowadays. So I'm interested to see what Meteor can do, maybe put down an important ward. We'll see if he can get himself in the right place.
Doggo gonna go for a little bit of aggression.
Or of course,
Kepler,
early pot lane as well.
Yeah, you know, why not? Meteor is gonna be spotted out by that pixel ward, as he should just go for the Scuttle Crab, although it does mean that Hacker will know that he's down here and maybe try to get ahead of him over on the top side of the map. Doggo actually gonna get dashed on by Kepler. Kepler getting a good chunk of damage back though in the end.
So Meteor, all they're going to do is put down, I think, a ward in the enemy jungle. Did they even get to do that? No. So I think they were just checking whether Hacker was on those camps. Of course, Scuttlecrab hasn't spawned just yet. They're still in their first quadrant clear. Meteor with the kind of the look in towards bot side jungle is going to lose a bit of farming speed. So that means that Hacker will probably get towards his choice of kind of location on the map before Meteor first.
I like the aggression. I feel like this is definitely a different level of the Lucian aggression in the early game that we got the last 2 games at least. They will have to take that early back, try to get back into the lane as quick as possible. Meanwhile, we are seeing the potential culmination of some topside start, or at least topside pathing for Hacker if he can get Burdol under tower here.
So, Kepler did the early back, started with a long sword, and went straight back towards the World Atlas, which is the support item. Kind of annoying for him that he couldn't get towards a Courtesy Shot as well. The perfect laning item back would be Courtesy Shot and the laning item as well, because Courtesy Shot is so good in that occasional energized tap.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess you just get that big spike early and you can continuously use it every time.
I love how you just sat there like, I'm trying as hard to be interested about this 80 carry first back itemization as possible, Alex.
It's so
good.
You're so good,
like,
brother. I got
look,
you. It's a dub, boss
you know,
man.
yesterday I was talking about how the Elixir of Wrath from Triple Tonic gives you like 50 extra damage on a combo, and Captain Flowers is like, that's nice, Nymaera. I'm glad you're as dedicated as possible. I feel very belittled in the last few days about my micro build stuff, man.
Hey, I mean, it's kind of cool, especially now that we're getting to the end of week 1, where, you know, we've spent a week with this patch and we're starting to get some different culmination of item differentiation and the different paths you can go early on.
Yeah, for sure. For the record, I actually do sit there with a calculator sometimes figuring out random different things with the... I am a nerd about this, don't worry. I accept that. That's why I'm a color caster. And that means that sometimes you can see some of these adaptations on the rift, which can give you that tiny extra bit of damage in lane. And when things get so hectic, as they have done in some of the games today, those extra micro... When you're fighting those extra percentages of damage, extra micro advantages can really come to bear.
See, but Lucian has 2 guns, and Aphelios has 4 guns. So
wait, 5.
You know, results based and now, okay, well,
yeah, it's 5. You have Kepler. Do you know all the names of them?
Math is really easy.
Do you know the names of the abilities of all of his weapons?
Ooh, I don't.
So you have Calibrum, which is the rifle. That's Moonshot. You have Severum, which is the lifesteal pistol. That is Onslaught. You have Graviton, which is the root gun, and that is Binding Eclipse. You have Infernum, which is the flamethrower, which is Duskwave, and then you have Crescendum, which is Sentinel.
Which makes sense.
And then you have the Ultimate Moonlight Vision.
I know that one. It does big damage.
Yeah, it does sometimes. You know that after you hit it, you get an auto attack after it lands, which is why if you have a lot of crit chance, sometimes it feels like it does 1,000,000 damage because it crits, but it doesn't always do the same damage because it's an auto attack afterwards.
The things you learn.
You could have also just replied with that with, interesting, and left it at that again.
I could have, but I didn't because we're friends, all right? And I don't leave you hanging like that. Except now I throw you under the bus.
I'm glad that someone appreciates it.
Yeah, at some point, somebody has to, right? The back to the battery, though, I'm just saying, the Nico looking kind of sick into the Corki right now after a laning phase has started whittling out. This is the first time we've seen this matchup in the 2. I
mean, we saw the Nico into the Corki.
Well, tonight.
We saw it with Rookie versus Cryon earlier today with the IGN matchup. But yes, I'm more interested to see how this works in team fights, because if Nico gets a bad angle, Decade just shunts him out of the fight with his ult, takes him out. But he also gets a bad angle as a chance that the Maokai ult stops him from getting a good angle. But if you manage to get into the backline, the melee ult isn't going to stop the knock-up coming through from the ult and the damage of it, which is very powerful because, of course, the melee ult gives you that AoE cleanse and the heal on it too. So Haichao, I'm really looking for his angles. He did really well on the Akali, right? He's definitely got the ability to do so. A lot of responsibility for him to find the carries, though. Because again, it's one of those games, you have a big front line, which you don't really want to be hitting. But if you find the back line, they will melt.
Yeah. And again, Haichao's really an interesting story in his own right. He's been with LGD now in the starting roster since summer 2022. But originally, LDL call-up from LGD Young. And I think had a lot of rocky moments last year where you can see some of the mechanical play is definitely there, but sometimes that decision-making tree doesn't actually fit the way that the team comp plays together, and it ends up in like desynced plays. We've seen a bit of a come up of that, at least on the Akali in big moments that you could find those flanks last game, and now trying to do so again on the Nico.
Should be the name of the game. So, what's interesting to talk about in the game so far? Lane phase, fairly even. Talked about the mid lane. Meteor and Hacker finding themselves in the jungle. Grubs have all taken, but now we finally get a fight topside.
Okay, Burdol needs to be a little careful. We're going to dodge out. The Q, though, is going to have to burn his flash, potentially. No, actually just dodges out.
Okay, good steps. Gets himself away from a lot of those Qs, keeps himself topped up as best as he can, and that's going to be ult for ult trade on the topside. So Not really leading to that much. Neither of them have teleport to get back to lane. Dragon is not up on the bot side of the map. And yeah, we only have that one grub taken, so the spawn will not be coming through just yet. Potentially stops, you know, some of the ability to play around side lanes later in the game from being so impactful, especially if we don't go all 6 spawning in this game.
Should I don't know when we're gonna get a counter for it, but should I just take a permanent marker and mark it on my computer screen on how many grubs get taken?
They're on the top.
I think you can.
They're in the top. You can see them. They're outside the tower bit. So you have kills, you have gold, you have towers.
But I wanted to like stand out. I want like a little picture of them. Like that's a picture of the
literally
icon.
is
That's a picture
icon
of the icon. I want to see
icon.
Ed and Eddie on my screen.
I see. I finally got you. You're finally calling them something besides the grubbies. There we go. A victory.
But they're so cute.
A victory. A victory for those who want to call them different things.
I do really like Sir Grubbington the Third.
Yeah, the third is okay.
That was pretty good.
But is that the first?
No,
the
fourth is the Descendant. All right.
I did almost call them bacon, lettuce, and tomato. I thought that'd be quite funny. Like you eat them up because it's a BLT sandwich. Because it's a great trio. I don't actually like tomatoes that much.
You're missing the bread.
But you don't talk about what's in the... You don't talk about the bread when you talk about the filling of the sandwich.
But when you make the sandwich, Nymaera, don't you need some bread?
Wait, hang on. I'm sorry. Do you call a BLT sandwich a BBLT because there's bread? Is that how you would call it?
I call it a BLT sandwich.
Yes, exactly.
And
so
then a sandwich
BLT.
has bread in it.
It doesn't have bread in it.
So one of us is the color caster here, and the other one's the play-by-play. And I'm just saying, one's making better decisions here.
Your logic is beyond me, Lennon. It's beyond me.
One day we will come to a decision on what we're going to call the grubbies.
I can raise you another one. Snap, crackle, and pop. Do you ever have Rice Krispies?
Rice Krispies are, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was just a...
Do you remember the little commercials
I
used to
do.
have? They're like little stories in commercials.
I feel like a lot of
peak
people...
marketing.
I feel like a lot of people are influenced a lot. Well, this probably tells you how the marketing works, but I remember so many random adverts in my browser. Like a lot of them, and I will never buy these products again.
Good job.
I'm never going to buy these products again, but I'll remember the adverts. So it's kind of worked and kind of hasn't.
I forget I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, a jingle for one of the commercials is going to be in everybody's head for the rest of their lives, and they won't even know why. We do, though.
Someone's trained very hard to do that.
Yeah, you know, hey, good advertising. That's what it is.
Right, okay. Should we get back to talking about the game? We have ourselves Dragon on the bot side. Will be second for LGD if they can get it, but... Bot lane priority is a bit askew because Kepler and JinJiao have left the bot lane and tries to go towards the Dragon. Doggo's not here
Package
yet.
is coming out.
First item built up for 80 carries importantly.
I'm wondering how Yeekai can get in here. Dragon is taking forever to go down now. Yeekai actually didn't take the extra angle here, but he's actually going to look Moonlight Vigil connecting only a couple. The Dragon goes over to Meteor. The package going to be utilized as the tidal wave came across, so Ultra Prime can't really do anything about it. That is the Dragon going over to LGD.
So it's not going to be a parting of the Red Sea like Rookie did in his crazy Corky game earlier, but it is going to be at least the Dragon going over to the side of LGD. So Yeekai not really getting the biggest value out of that, sadly.
Trying to make something out of nothing, it feels like, in a lot of the situations. A bit dicey. Kepler, speaking of dicey, does actually bait out Doggo and Jwei. Now they're in some serious trouble here. Kepler can't really do damage, though, because Doggo will have his number. The Graviton is doing some work here, as they are going to try to push this in with the fact that they have Hacker right around the corner.
So he doesn't have ult, but he does have flash if he needs to close down someone. Of course, he could reset Tower if they wanted to go for something aggressive. But 3, realistically, not looking at that.
Warm hug. Kepler doesn't like warm hugs very much.
No, he's very antisocial. He's not a touchy-feely kind of guy. Keeps you at arm's reach, tries to keep you at the culling range, and Ultra Prime, they'll get away with the all-in towards bot side, which we're going to. So Yeekai's a little bit late to this fight. I'm really surprised that Dragon went over the side of Meteor. Let's get on here. Oh, that is close. 81 HP. Okay, fair. That's actually really close. Surprised that Hacker didn't go down as well, actually. That was a close one thing on that. But Ultra Prime, even though they don't get the Dragon, at least they get out with their lives. That was looking chancy for a second.
It was a really good tidal wave from JinJiao, actually, as the packages coming across from Yeekai. But now as we look at the battlefield at hand, is 2 dragons to LGD, which gives him a lot of map control. Hacker continuously looking down this bottom side now. LGD having vision of him all along, and Meteor just in tow.
Getting himself down towards the scuttle crabs. You see the grubs go away, so there was only 1 grub taken the entirety of this early game. There has been 0 topside focus at all. Just left those 2 very much on down. You see that Burdol is going towards the Profane Hydra again, towards this Aatrox build, which seems to be picking up a bit more popularity. We have a Salve on the bot side, but Hacker's close behind.
The horse goes wild there. Magnet Storm in, and guess who's dead? It's Jwei already. Nice combo back to Ultra Prime responding in kind. Double kill for Yeekai.
That was an unwise dive, LGD. Ultra Prime, they had themselves the barrier onto Doggo, which meant that he could stay alive through Meteor's engage. That's going to get a handful of gold over to Yeekai on this Corki, who we know does damage. The question is whether they can convert on that in this game. It's been a bit of a questionable thing in this series, but Ultra Prime, that's a significant win for them.
See, the actual startup of this was LGD's number trying to make it happen.
But I think the real big story here is the fact that Hacker's just behind Meteor. It's not that long of a timing window for LGD to work around. Meteor doesn't manage to drop tower aggro. Kepler's gone in too deep as well. The reason they're put into this position is because Hacker just cuts off so much of their exit strategy.
And it's crazy because this Yeekai guy, he's been a sub on LNG for the last year, and here he is trying to make it happen on Ultra Prime, getting the start and making some damage happen in game number 3. Was very good in game number 1 as well. And the Corki not too bad in game 2, just weren't able to close it out. So starting off with 2 kills now, going to be very strong for Ultra Prime to play around.
Okay, gold is just about even as far as things go. Means that we're not really looking at any game-breaking advantage just yet. We don't have the towers down yet either. So the map is still pretty fresh. That does mean there's a lot of standing gold to go towards, but we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer to see if we can get one of these big power plays which sees ourselves in. Wait, what happens if we don't get an early advantage? We've had 2 games of early advantage into late game scaling. What happens if we don't get any early advantage?
Honestly, you probably have more eyes on that, because for me it's been nothing happening and then long games. It's been really fun because like 30 minutes plus, then we get crazy action.
You really
That's
just went check it at
all
30 minutes.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's been a lot of fun to do that, but now we get to check in at about 16 minutes, and it's the Rift Herald maybe being driven away here because Ultra Prime go ahead and steal it from LGD. Now, Decade did have to give his life for it, but they'll be able to drive that into a turret in the outer section sometime soon.
Okay, that was the Infernal Chains getting good value against Decade. He couldn't get himself out of that one. He dies for the cost of the Herald itself. But Nymaera Hacker was just over the wall. Ultra Prime, can they break open something across the map? As we said, no turret's fallen just yet. However, with the death going down, Decade does mean that soul point likely picked up for LGD, and particularly when it's an ocean soul, it's quite valuable.
Yeah, I think Yeekai was going to back it up. No, if the package is available right now. But I would suspect it was, but they just didn't have an angle to go for the dragon. So it means they are now on a 5-minute timer for Ultra Prime because that soul point completed for LGD.
Speaking of the Corki, has himself really strong items at this point in time, so he's got the power spike right here. So we've had two objectives stolen. What the heck?
What?
Was that the ult? No, but the
ult stolen?
Did the ult steal that?
That's insane.
I mean, it wasn't a sapling popping. It was. I didn't catch if there was a sapling running towards it. That is not a smite range. That was not in smite range, man. He was literally not close enough to press that button.
It's so funny though. We heard the the sound as it comes down because Meteor is trying to get it, but I think he's just a little too early. I think the last damage came through from Meteor's grasp.
Smite has not been particularly impressive this game. We've had one dragon stolen and one. Ooh, that Meteor not reaching Doggo.
The combo button is though. Jwei is just caught and dead. Decade's down on a flank here. Trying to push back Meteor a little bit. Does get the all out and should be all dead for Meteor. He gets the healing though, and the flash out, and it ends up being Haichao getting the kill on Hacker.
How the heck does that work? Well, Meteor blows the flash, but he doesn't die. We have ourselves some side lane action happening at the same time. Of course, when you build up lethality, that does affect towers. They have themselves something like 100 armor, so Profane Hydra will help Burdol take down this bot lane turret. On the other side of the map, though, Yeekai, this Corki getting a lot of solo gold. hasn't stopped off for the Hex Drinker this time, going straight towards the damage build, so he has himself the core 2 damage items of the Poke Corki. He's going to get himself to a damage item point much earlier because he hasn't stopped off for the Hex Drinker. Damage here, though, doesn't reach Doggo, so I thought that this was going to be a bit of a blowout fight, sadly for LGD, but they managed to catch the support, and after this, Decade's really good angle here. Thought again, actually, yeah, bad for LGD, but somehow the Nami wave comes in clutch, and throughout all of this, Ultra Prime just couldn't get the damage down, and Doggo is dead.
Doggo's just gone, caught out, it looks like, in the middle of the map. This means that Ultra Prime now are on the back foot for the foreseeable future, and Kepler just gets to do its thing.
Yeah, and you know, losing that mid lane out of turret at this time mark is a little bit annoying now because you're dealing with the Lucian Nami running at you with their item breakpoints. You've got the Imperial Mandate and the rapid fire cannon, crazy energized build from Kepler at this point too. So you can't really walk up into mid lane with as much impunity as you did before that turret was down.
Let's see LGD pick up another one here.
Yeah, let's see how this happened.
Replay.
Right. Okay, this is Lucian Nami running at them. Numbers advantage. They'd already kind of pulled over the jungler earlier before for the last dive, but he's not in position this time as Hacker to save them once again from LGD.
A bit unfortunate on the positioning on that one, but something that maybe needs to be addressed as Ultra Prime move forward here. He be just fine though with that range advantage.
We have a very dangerous situation now. We have an early gold lead. Well, it's not early gold. We have a gold lead. Gold leads have not been particularly safe in this series so far. So LGD, beware. Don't throw it out so easily. There is a Corki scaling on the other side. No, it's not Nikali who's going to assassinate your backline, but, you know, keep it tight.
Just keep it tight, keep it in front of you.
Stay frosty. Just saying, we've seen a couple of long games with a couple of throws. Just throwing it out there.
I'm waiting to 30 minutes. I got my watch going and everything. We're ready to go. It has been the craziness of this series, though. It's just been so back and forth. Games that seem like they should be in one hand, drives in the other. He went the other way!
Yeekai!
He was on the other side. Hey, that's not on him. That's not on him.
Yeah,
it literally was on the other side, and it just went the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, there is an arrow you're meant to click to be able to put the heralds driving in a certain direction, but I thought there was like a problem where if you clicked on it, sometimes the arrow didn't matter because it meant it was kind of like, it took you to the opposite side of the herald that you were facing, so it would kind of drive you forwards from the position that you were facing. That obviously wasn't the case there, and that's really awkward now, because that would have been really nice to break open or at least chunk out that mid lane turret.
I love it because I've casted 2 days of LPL. I've seen that twice now, and I just think it's absolutely hilarious that in a professional league we get to watch this happen. Oh,
it's been hilarious. Carrier had a similar situation.
You can't do anything about it.
Like, bro is not getting the driver's license.
Revoke that thing right now, cut it in half in front of him, and send him home in a taxi. Bro
has a rafflecopter, but he's staying in the passenger seat for the car.
Oh my goodness. I love it so much. Now, we do get to see, in about 10 seconds, the LGD soul fight here. If it's Ultra Prime, go ahead and give this one. But it also gives LGD a lot of options, too.
So, package is the big thing to watch, of course, but can we get ourselves either flank? Haichao's on the flank, but I think that Ultra Prime are very aware of what's happening here.
Oh, and Haichao is completely cut. No, he catches them back. His life will be traded, but Jwei is down low, and so Doggo is going to heal up. That tidal wave buying a little bit of time, but LGD not going to have enough space. The Nature's Grasp coming out now as well. The Decade outside, all out. It's going to get Meteor out of there. The Dragon went to Doggo instead, and now
it's the gold lead.
Decade going through it, and it's the gold lead yet again as Nightmares strike 3 times in this series.
It's actually like the old samurai movies where the first person to move loses. LGD, they get themselves out to the lead, and then suddenly around the Dragon, things fall apart. Haichao was really disconnected from his team, and because of that, they're not going to be able to get themselves the soul. They're going to lose themselves a handful of gold, and now Decade taking a turret in the spot side of the map too. Ultra Prime, like every other game that the team has been behind in, have found themselves a way back into this.
by seeing Haichao in the first place, knowing that he's down here and just starting it off. Haichao does a really good reactive job to get some damage back, and unfortunately his team without him don't do enough damage to be able to take down the dragon fast.
And also, the damage goes on to Jwei, which is not somewhat, I mean, it's okay, but he's alive. Now he can stand behind his carries. He doesn't need to be up close, and that damage is never going to be capitalized on. Decade, great job of soaking up a lot of the CC at the front line. This is why Kastante is very good into the likes of Maokai, Ral, Nami, this kind of champions which want to just throw stuff at you. You stand still, you still have huge impact. Now the gold is pretty much back to even. Item break points, what do we need to talk about there? There's still no second item from Doggo, importantly, whereas Kepler's on his way to his third. Gotta be so close to the finish for the fellows now. In fact, he's picked up just there. Third item for Yeekai, again, not stopped off for the Hex Drinker, so the Eclipse coming in very, very fast now. Yeekai is going to be the Bombardment General.
There's gotta be a better name.
Bombardier General. That's probably the word.
There we go. That's better. That's
I knew that was actually a term.
The Missile Barrage Captain. I don't know.
No, that's gone the other way.
That's,
we have
less?
that is. I mean, there was the old Atari game Missile Command.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. You could be the Missile Commander.
True. Yeah, I don't mind that one. I don't mind that one. What happens when you have the package too, though?
That's a good question.
You always got to think about the combos, Nymaera.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think that far. Well, I was thinking mainly about the ult damage anyway. The package is very true. Now, we do have ourselves Baron spawning as well. So now, LGD, they can't really afford to get vision denied around the area. It is harder for red side to take Baron than blue side, because particularly on this map as well, it feels like there are a couple of choke points where you can find yourself very easily in, and a lot of walls which are making your job very, very hard to approach the Baron. LGD are now going to walk towards that top side of the map and get themselves a bit more of a safe pocket to play around.
I think we're just sitting on a timer as well, since Ultra Prime were able to at least deny the stacking from LGD. We have about 2 minutes till the next dragon spawns, and LGD really want to sink that one home now. Get an Ocean Soul would be really big for their team fight as well.
Most teamfights have pretty much been the decider of the series. You know, we can talk about side lane stuff and objective play. Largely has been teamfight execution, which has been the decider of these series. So, both these teams now somewhat back on even footing. Now get themselves a chance to really kind of show who is the better team on the day. I kind of like this when it comes down to a deciding series. It feels much better to have the close game in Game 3 where everything's open.
It's cool also, both these teams trying to go for their first win of the season. Again, it's single round robin, 17 teams, every win matters, and especially when it feels as good as dragging one out and making sure you take home the victory. I think now when we're starting to get the push and pull of these objectives, you do have a lot of pings from LGD around this Baron buff, maybe trying to pull a play around it and force Ultra Prime's hand.
The problem is, they don't really want to be tanking Baron, because you have one tank in the Ral and you have a little bit of sustain from the Nami, but Baron is harder to kill and it does more damage to you than it did last year. There's also a ward just behind them. They haven't done a perfect job sweeping out vision, so Ultra Prime will have some advance notice of if they're moving to and from mid lane of the river. Very interesting to see whether Ultra Prime feel stressed enough or stretched across the map enough to force their way into it.
So Doggo did just got some more pieces to the puzzle here, trying to get back out onto the map as well. Figured there's a little bit of time as LGD. We're just trying to look for overextensions as it goes, but Nymaera 25 seconds just about, as we have LGD taking priority of mid lane to take this dragon.
Yeah, that dragon, of course, is on the other side of the map to the Baron. Ultra Prime, they can't afford to let Baron go off the vision, but they can't control vision on both sides of the map. They're not being allowed into the river. Despite the goal being somewhat even, it feels like Ultra Prime are the team which have really struggled to get good foothold somewhere else. They're trying to brute force mid. That'll help them into the river, away from the vision that they put down safely. Let's see if they can manage.
Decade is here, the good frontliner. Hacker not super tanky, does have the frozen heart, so a little bit of armor there. And looking now to try to get in front of the bull that is charging in LGD.
Okay, Ultra Prime, they've forced their way into river. This is good. Now, LGD, do they have any teleport boards available? No, not really. They could maybe get someone down to a bot wave. But Yeekai, what's he going to be able to do?
Double hook. Now the Nature's Grass coming out. The Dragon is the play here. LGD not really able to get anything there. Dragon goes over. Second denial from Ultra Prime. And it looks like we're now positioning around the mid lane here as Ultra Prime just trying to gain some ground.
I feel like that's a bit of a slip up from LGD. They had control over the vision on both sides of the map. Felt like they could have got themselves
tidal
something
wave
big.
coming
Now
out
they're
too.
going.
Decade just literally tanks the entire storm that LGD threw at them.
So, I mean, LGD, they had vision control and they'd had control of the mid lane for a while, but they still can't get Haichao into a flanking position. They're going back towards Baron now because the wards from Ultra Prime have timed out, but let's see how this works. They don't have the tidal wave, they don't have the culling. Yeekai, luckily, is on the other side, won't have package now either.
Nature's Grasp not available for Mr. Hacker, but Haichao, he found an angle, and the flash comes out, but it's too little, too late. Decade tanking again, but he goes all out into an all-death as LGD gets a little bit of a reset there in the middle of it. Great angle from Haichao.
Yeah, sadly from Ultra Prime, though Decade was tanking up a decent amount of damage, they can't get any significant damage in the return. Not enough, anyway. So it's going to be a 1 for none. That's about it. LGD don't even get themselves a huge advantage over this. They're going to get themselves, I suppose, a denial of Ultra Prime walking into top river and getting vision themselves. But this is how it happened. This is why we're saying that red side Baron contested quite hard. There's a lot of choke points which get very difficult to defend yourself in. Decade's the one that gets kind of shunted out of this way. Sadly, he can't get his W off in time to reduce some of the damage from that ultimate combo. He goes down. But they don't get that much off of that one kill.
Now looking back at the inventories though, I just saw the Randuins completed for Hackers. It's going full on armor, it feels like. But being able to have some of these defensive stats going in these next fights is super important for Ultra Prime because it feels like LGD with those setups and now especially the Rabadons for Haichao, they have so much of the Wombo combo available to them.
Now, important to note, they will have to go through a shield blow from Doggo. We didn't go for the Bloodthirst, we went for the all-type damage.
That's a good call.
Kind of low-health shield. Now, between that and Meteor, it's much harder to take Doggo off the table than just one combo. Hacker is chunked out a little bit. Again, he's fairly tanky, and he'll be able to regen up with his passive if he finds something to hit as well. So, we're back to the push and pull of the mid lane, trying to get some vision, trying to finish off one of these next objectives.
Oh, hold on, my timer just went off. We got another fight. 30 minutes has passed, and now we're getting to the real part of the game. As ultis go wide, we have double utilized by LGD, but Haichao was looking for an angle of his own. Did end up getting that Nature's Grasp out from Ultra Prime.
Gosh, neither of these teams are finding a decisive way to enter river and to get towards this Baron. It's slow running stuff. Typically you think that the Corki wins out on these battles, but neither of these teams have been able to convert that into winning fights. Baron started up again. Hack is going over to check. There is a push in the mid lane. Ultra Prime are gonna have to contest, but they have to go through this choke point.
They're in about half health here now, just about. LGD still going to be forcing the hand as Haichao can look for an angle on the side. Double Namis, one of them's got to be the
Oh, that's
Nico.
teleport.
That's
on the back. Well, that's
that
Haichao.
Is the angle. Ultra Prime, they don't know. They don't see it. They now do. They realize what could be done. Haichao, he's feeling a little bit desperate. He's going around the other side. He can't get it, but Hacker falls in the end. As Ultra Prime, they'll lose the one big member that matters in the moment, and they'll have to back away.
So, Ultra Prime have no smite, but because the HP bar is so low from Haichao with no teleport, I don't know if they can complete... Wait, they are actually just going straight for this. I was wondering if Ultra Prime could stick around the contest because they knew that Haichao could not be there for the extra damage source, and they are in fact walking over towards the Baron again.
It takes forever. They have to be a little bit careful. Ultra Prime fully willing to fight this, though Burdol looking around the head, gets a two-man knock up there. Does need to be a little bit careful, though. A lot of damage was about to be turned his way. Wait, look at Haichao. He doesn't have ulti, but he's looking for a flank. As we do see Decade go in, Kepler's already gone. That's a big damage profile off the table here. As now Ultra Prime moving on to Haichao. Can't hit either of the skill shots there. And LGD looking for some reprieve under their turret. Need to be a little bit more careful as JinJiao having a flash. That's a big amount of damage coming back, though. And look at Burdol! Welcome to the LPL, my king, as he's setting up to slam down Ultra Prime. There's a couple more swaying bam, thank you, ma'ams, as Decade will fall. No, he gets out. A beautiful bramble smash from Hacker, but my goodness, this Aatrox is popping off.
That's why you go for the lethality build, folks. It might make it a little easier to kill you, but oh my gosh, do you slap back hard. both the carries of Ultra Prime hit the ground. And once again, it has felt like most of these games have come down to these micro outplayed in the skirmishes and team fights, which are determining this series. Dragon's going to go over, even though the Baron is in complete flux yet again. How did this come out this time? Decade. He's the one that makes the difference onto the backline, and sadly, Lucian, though he does have strong power spikes, can't really deal much damage when he's dead. This is where things come around, though. Both top lanes really just influencing this phase of play. Haichao starts it off. Great damage on both of them, and then Burdol cleans up.
That's a lot of gold that he just got to. Almost 2,000 off the back of just those 2 kills. Ultra Prime, never one to wait. We're going to start up the Baron now. Now LGD on the way with a TP2.
But they're going to get forced off of it. The package available from Yeekai, but once again, it feels like the Corki has not been the determining factor in the way that it has been for some other players in some other games. There's a lot of damage available in the Corki. It has to be at the right place.
Kepler dashing forward, gonna get a nice culling to Doggo, but now that ultimate is down. You have Haichao looking around the edge. He has Pop Blossom. The Baron trying to be burned down, trying to wait for Yeekai. The Nature's Grass comes through. The package still available. This is dicey. They're taking a ton of work here from LGD. Tidal wave coming around. Look at Haichao. He's unseen. He's coming around now. He will finally be seen as now 5,000 health package comes out from Yeekai. This is a little bit stressful. Meteor's in the pit a little early. The Baron's going down. Meteor, he's not able to get it. Now LGD pounce back on Ultra Prime, but Yeekai hits a rocket. Now Ultra Prime on the other side trying to take down Burdol, but Decade is tanking up the rest of LGD too. He's going to go down, and now Burdol is set up for success. He's getting some resets, and LGD are taking Ultra Prime to task. It's deja vu all over again.
Finally, we get ourselves a game-breaking advantage. LGD crushed the team fight after Ultra Prime secure the Baron, but they lose so many people, they're not going to be able to use that much of it. This won't be the end of the game, but with Ocean Soul in their pockets as well, LGD, they're going to go walk forward, probably take themselves an inhibitor, and back out with a map advantage.
What a performance from Burdol and Haichao right now in this game. They are setting them up easy every time. And I love your call out about the lethality build earlier. It's really starting to come online because they don't necessarily have an answer to Burdol.
No, they've not been able to burst them out at the team fights. Reminder, Burdol was this absolutely hyped rookie coming out of LCK Challenges. He was a T1 trainee. He ended up on Gen G. He had a passionate career over in Gen G there as well, but he even went to Worlds with that team. He's now coming into his first split in the LPL, and oh my word. Once he has a lead, folks, he's definitely shown how to use it. It's the increased healing you get from the World Ender, man. There's a bit of a sad moment where Jwei tries to guess where the Q2 is going to go, instead flashes straight into it and dies, but that's just a bit of a sad moment on top of a sad team fight for the side of Ultra Prime.
Seems like there might be a Reaper at the doorstep of Ultra Prime right now, and it's wearing the face of LGD, and maybe Burdol's right there behind him too, because he's completed a 4th item now as well. Everything's starting to come online for LGD, and they have the siege potential for a long time with this Ocean Soul. See that Ultra Prime can't even leave their base.
Yeekai, you really wish this Corki could do a little bit more in regards to chunking down the important members, but just hasn't been the case in this series. He's up 4 items, sure. Potentially great damage on the table, especially if it hits Haichao or Kepler, but he's just not had access to those targets. Hasn't mattered.
We've literally seen every game that Corki has been played. The damage is fine. The damage looks really good, but it's not consistent enough.
No, and it's not onto the important targets at the important times. If you can sit still in an objective, force the enemy to choose between engaging onto you or trying to steal the objective, it gives Corki a lot of room to kind of get value and find some damage in between the cracks. But I don't think either of these teams' objective setups have been particularly clean today. It has meant that Corki has struggled to get as much value.
LGD a little bit worrisome to continue their siege. Will end up backing off without getting that top inhib tower, but they did get the mid inhib tower and the inhib itself. So the super minions starting to spawn there, and some resets coming out from LGD now.
Go spend their ill-gotten gains. Themselves the unending despair coming out of Meteor, or is that the... No, that's the Hollow Radiance. That's all the Sunfire. I was trying to remember, because there are 2 items, tank items, which are really similar. One of them is the MR Sunfire, the other is effectively the damage portion of JinJiao, where in combat would occasionally just great outcome. This one's the Sunfire. The Unending Despair, though, is a really fun item. Like, let me know when you see that, because that's actually a fun one. I like that.
I like it. I do want to point out, Doggo has a Bloodthirster now, too, so he's just going all healing and survivability, which I can appreciate.
I mean, it means that you're not able to kill the DPM members as easily, because you don't have the, you know, the shred of being able to take down people with higher HP than you. I wonder if that will come to bite him at some point, but I understand being able to have these low health turnarounds, especially if someone like Aatrox gets right on top of him. But I think even with the double lifesteal, I don't think we're dealing with an Aatrox that goes on.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit few and far between to see those kinds of moments. But I do think that LGD not feeling super confident to move forward. Okay, now they will, because they have Burdol on the flank.
Here comes Haichao as well, so double teleport. Burdol's been spotted. I don't think
Meteor
Haichao
wants
has.
it. Oh, Meteor's trying to force it. Jwei's going in. Haichao finds the back end, and that doesn't matter. You can have a flank of a flank or even a flangle if you want, Nymaera. LGD will take every single one of those, and they take Ultra Prime's existence here in game number 3.
They spot Burdol, but they don't spot Haichao, and I don't care if there's a shield bow on Doggo. I don't care if he has a million lifesteal. He doesn't get to auto attack. He gets blasted. Next wave shuttling in towards the Nexus as a super minion. This should be the end of the game. Package might be able to clear the wave. We'll see how much Yeekai can do.
Yeekai's got to do something here. He gets chunked just trying to use the package there. The last turret standing still. Hacker goes in to give his life. He's going down. The tree's burning. Everything is burning. And Ultra Prime are falling. LGD claim their first season victory here in spring.
Important victory for them symbolically. Both of these teams struggled in 2023, both of them having a 14th and a 17th place finish in both of the splits between spring and summer. It was a hardcore season. It was a season last year and a series here today as well. This is something which you can use to build some momentum and some confidence up there. I don't think either of these teams is going to walk away, you know, completely confident from the series. There was some early game leads thrown by both teams. That will be a worry for them. I think that some of the objective setup left something to be desired. However, the team fighting execution was something which was on display. I think that even though